This week did not go as I had hoped. My whole family got sick, so we got no sleep. All my meal plan was disrupted and all of my workouts were pushed around. On top of that, I got my labs back and the results were considerably worse than what I had anticipated. What they revealed is not that I had simply made a few bad choices here and there, but I have a long history of making poor choices with my health. And that got me thinking about consistency. Namely, how do I start to practice consistency in a new and healthy way, especially when life gets hard? Welcome to week 3 of the Stewardship Project. A little over a week ago, our 2 older boys started feeling bad. And a few days later, our little girl, who's 7 months old, started to get sick as well. We decided to take her to the clinic to see what she had, and it turned out that she came down with RSV. As you can imagine, that was a little bit concerning. And if you have little children, you know that when your kids feel bad, nobody's getting any sleep. So I would get a few hours of sleep at night, and my wife would get even less. In the mornings, I would try to give her a little bit of a break, let her sleep in a little bit, and let me take care of the kids. I'll handle breakfast. And that really threw a wrench in our plans because I'm not good at making breakfast.
You embarrass me!
I know how to grill. I could grill you a medium rare steak to perfection. I could smoke a brisket for you for 14 hours, no problem. But if you put me in the kitchen with pots and pans, it just doesn't go well for me. I know, it's ridiculous and you can judge me. One morning I did try to make us breakfast and I burned the butter.
You serious?
I had to think about, okay, well, how do I get us some food now? And this is normally the part of the story where I would say, we went to McDonald's, we had pancakes, and I threw the rest of the week away and said, we're going to start over next Monday. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. But thankfully, this time, we made better choices. And there were a few times where I would have to stop and get food for us on my way home for dinner. So I'd stop by Chipotle. They have these high-protein bowls with just a little bit of rice and beans and a lot of protein. I know this is pretty basic, but it was actually a big win for me to make better choices at a fast food place or at a restaurant, especially when all of our family rhythms were totally thrown off. Needless to say, my wife and I were very tired every single day. I'm not sure if we've even recovered up to this point yet. And that messed up my workout schedule because I was supposed to wake up early in the morning, work out first thing, but instead I chose to sleep a little bit longer in the morning and moved my workout till the lunchtime. And this ended up working out really well because my oldest boy joined me in the garage, and as you can see, he was working on his bench press and a few other exercises. We had a really great time together. I had to really learn to be okay with my plan not going exactly as I wanted it to go. And then I got the email with my labs. You know, it's really interesting. All throughout my career of bad eating and bad health choices, I never really thought that I was that unhealthy. I knew I was overweight, don't get me wrong. I didn't think that I was fit by any stretch of the imagination. I just didn't think that I was that unhealthy. I told my wife before I got my labs that I wasn't expecting a good report per se. I just didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. So my A1C number is at 5.9%, which I've come to learn means that I'm in the stage that they call pre-diabetic. That was a dagger to the heart. I'd already had a wake-up call about my health. That's why I started this whole project. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I just didn't realize that I was that bad. What was probably more concerning to me was that my testosterone number was really low, down at 250. And so I was really thinking about those results and realizing that my poor health choices had not only affected my appearance, but they had also affected me in a very fundamental way. They affected me as a man. My lifestyle had a tremendous impact on my body's ability to produce the primary male hormone. Honestly, that's really scary. And I think it gives another layer of depth behind the idea of stewarding your body well. As you know, I'm a Christian, and I believe that God made us male and female. And the way that I was eating and taking care of my body or not taking care of my body was having a real impact on my maleness, so to speak. What these numbers really say about me is that not just that I made a few bad choices here and there, but that I had a long history of bad choices, which is also ironic because whenever I've thought about my history with trying to lose weight, the word that's always come to my mind is inconsistent. But what those numbers reveal is that I don't have a problem with consistency. I've been very consistent in making really bad choices. So what I need to do is learn how to take that framework that's already in my head of consistency and apply it in a new direction. And honestly, I find that strangely comforting. It's comforting to me because I know how to be consistent. I just need to do it the right way. And by God's grace, I had the opportunity to practice that this past week, making better choices with food. And when my workout schedule is thrown off, still finding a way to exercise. Speaking of consistency, let's talk about my weigh-in. I was actually really excited to step on the scale for my weigh-in this past Monday. After the last week of dealing with my children being sick and getting no sleep, but still being able to maintain my convictions with better eating and getting my workouts in, I thought surely my progress would be evident. I was wrong. I stepped on the scale and it told me I only lost 1.2 pounds. And let me tell you, I was deflated. I caught myself returning to the same old thought patterns in my mind of, why am I even doing this if I'm only going to lose 1 pound? I'm putting in so much effort to only lose 1 pound. Is this even worth it? But in God's providence, I had already been thinking about the idea of consistency. So I reminded myself, I didn't get to be over 300 pounds because I ate a few burgers or, a few weeks went by with me not paying attention to what I was eating. I got to be over 300 pounds and in this pre-diabetes range because of months and years of stacking up bad choices. But that consistency that got me into this place of bad health is going to be the same consistency that's going to get me out of this place of bad health and into better stewardship of my body. I decided I'm not gonna live and die by the scale. The scale is helpful and it helps me to see some of my progress, but it can't tell the whole story. It doesn't tell the story of last week, which, by the way, was a huge win for me, even though it didn't feel like it at the time. I ate out several times and didn't eat food that I knew I shouldn't be eating. I slept in past my workout time and still was able to get my workouts in. And I know that if I stack up enough of those kinds of days and those kinds of weeks and those kinds of months, it won't be long before my labs and the scale start to reflect a new kind of consistency. Namely, the kind of consistency that says that I'm stewarding my body well and I'm learning to live with endurance. And that's what this whole stewardship project is all about. What areas in your life do you want to learn to make better choices in more consistently? Comment below and make sure to subscribe to the channel, and let's learn to live with endurance together. See you next week.